Hey, what's going on, YouTube? So it's been a minute since I've made a video here, and the reason is I'm just not motivated, and that frankly, Call of Dragons doesn't deserve the content creation right now. So it's going to come as no surprise that the major reason that I'm really down on the game is the decoration system, and we'll get to that in a minute. Let's start about Age of Duality to start, and we'll start with the mechanics this season. We'll start with artifact variants. These are fine. I kind of like the way the system's implemented. I like the fact that every level has at least one, craft from scratch artifacts, so you don't have to have these others, unlocked and leveled up to get value out of this. So I think this is good. It's not like really compelling. It doesn't really change things all that much, but no issues. You can keep this. It's fine. The other thing that's really new this system is the portal system. I think the concept's pretty good. I think the way they've implemented it isn't that great. Um, I would like to see it more of a strategic choice, so maybe the portals last longer, but you get fewer activations out of them. You can see right now we have so many portals, we just spam them, on like the statues, whatever. So does the other side, because why not? I'd like them to see it more of an important choice you'd have to make. But otherwise, I think the idea is good, and allowing like other sides in the KVK to impact your battlefield. I do kind of like that idea. So the mechanics this season, they're okay, nothing amazing, but I don't think that's the problem in the game. Of course, one of the problems in the game is the terrible map design. This is our zone 2. You can see we took all 4 behemoths in our zone 2. And our zone 2 is over, like a couple, maybe a day and a half after it opened. And the reason is the gimmick for the season is in this zone is that these behemoths, they lock in a couple of hours after they open. So if you don't capture them by then, there's really no point to fighting anymore. Kind of an interesting thing is you can see the zone 2s have 2 thunder rocks and 2 giants. And then you also have a thunder rock and a giant in your opening zone. So it's kind of like, well, even if you get completely locked out of zone 2, don't feel too bad, because you're still going to have that same behemoth. Now, look, it's not like it's irrelevant. These behemoths do have, okay-ish buffs. And of course, you can take the behemoths with different shells, which allows you to use more behemoths in war. So it's not like it's irrelevant. It's just the impact's very, very minor. The Zone 2 lasted an extremely short amount of time, and we've just been like farming, waiting for Zone 3, doing statue fights and what have you. Right, as a B seed, at least I got a Zone 2. The A seeds didn't have any Zone 2 whatsoever, except for the portal participation. So really just a big miss here. Terrible Zone 2s. We're about to start Zone 3 in about a day, and of course after that we'll have Dragon Zone. Like, we'll see how it goes, but like, I'm not very optimistic. I did a video about this earlier. Our KVK has one of the most absurd lopsided matchups in the history of the game. The developers, I don't know what they're thinking, if they were just trying to hand one side a free win or whatever. So I'm not really looking forward to the last 2 zones here. But however, the lopsided matchup, that is sort of unique to my KVK. I'm sure there's some other KVKs out there that don't have such an absurd matchup this season. All right, in terms of the map, like I said, I think it's terrible. This is a terrible design, but it doesn't really concern me that much, because I think the terrible design essentially is a one-off. Like, they're not trying to make terrible maps. They've made good maps in the past. I'm sure they'll make good maps in the future, right? So I think this was a big miss, but I would expect them to do better next season. And in fact, they sent out that mail to everyone with a couple free amber saying, "Hey, oops, our bad. Sorry, we screwed up this season." All right, well, it's nice of them to acknowledge it. It's still, I would rather have them have a good season, but at least they realize the problem and they're working on it. And like I said, at the end of the day, I don't think map design is a critical flaw in this game going forward. I expect that they will get better, okay? The critical flaw, of course, is what you think it is. It's the decoration system. People asked me what I thought about this when it came out. I said, I think this is obscene, and I am disgusted with the game right now. This is the most absurd pay-to-win, BS the game has ever implemented. This is worse than, the VIP 16. This is worse than the exemplar system. This is basically tier 6 if you spend thousands and thousands of dollars, right? You look at these pay-to-win artifacts and you max them out, and it gives you 5% attack, 5% defense, and 3% damage dealt per artifact, so times 5. So 25% attack and defense and 15% all damage. That's basically like a tier 6 advantage. You look at it like an epic, you max out an epic, and you get 2% attack and defense and no all damage, right? That is a massive difference that a free to play low spend, even mid spend player can never hope to achieve. This is just permanently locking in an entrenched upper class in this game that is ridiculous. Now, people say, hey, they've been doing this forever. Why are you so surprised? And like, maybe I shouldn't be. I just think this is the latest, the worst example of this. There are some things in this game that like you pay to get there faster. Like, T5 is a great example. Obviously if you spend money in this game, you're going to unlock T5 much, much, much quicker than if you are a free to play low spender. But a free to play low spender will get there over time, right? The decorations are literally something a free to play low spender, even a mid spender, is never going to have. The expression is the straw that broke the camel's back. This is like the ton of bricks that broke the camel's back. This has even me, a fairly high spender in this game, disgusted and saying no more. But it's like, it's so much worse. It's so insidious what they've done here, because they've like tried to pretend that a free-to-play player can get to this level, right? They'll give you these choice legendary decoration chests that you can get for, they gave you a couple free in their apology email. You can also get a couple of these a week from like your merit store. So like, hey, look, a free-to-play player, it might take them longer, but they can get these legendaries leveled up. And that's such bullshit. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how insidious this is, right? So you look at these artifacts and you see, okay, well, we got 8 legendaries and 3 epics. We've already looked at the epics. They max out at 2%. The legendaries, they max out at, 5% and then 3%. But it's a trick. It's a trap. What is it really? There are 3 classes here. You have your pay-to-win legendaries, you have your epics, and then you have your trickster legendaries, your free-to-play legendaries, your poverty legendaries. Like Lausch Lounger here, it maxes out at 3% attack, 3% defense, so slightly better than an epic, but only slightly better. And you can see that these 3, that, Breath of Rebirth, and Dewdrop Trimes, they're all at the 3% level. So these are basically like your poverty legendaries. And if you go to your chest that you can get for free every week, guess what 3 you can unlock, right? And so they're trying to trick you into thinking that a free-to-play player can get these. It's a lie. They can't. The best you can do is these things, which are only slightly better than an epic and nowhere near as good as the pay-to-win legendaries. So I'm absolutely disgusted by this system, and I'm not interested in doing it anymore. Okay, so what am I doing? Well, this season, I'm going to fight everything I've got, right? I think I mentioned this earlier. I think when you sign up for a KVK, you sort of give a social contract to your alliance to give everything you have for that KVK, right? The matchmaking is in part based on your power when you sign up for it. And I certainly am not going to abandon these people. In fact, the reason I keep playing this game is for the community, is for my friends, and community in the alliance. And so that's what keeps me coming back. Next season, I don't know. I'll probably keep playing because I'm a freaking addict for this game. But I'll tell you what, I'm done spending money on this game. Like I had some Dragon tickets. I have a few left. I'll use those. And when I say I'm done spending money in this game, that's not 100% true. I'll probably still buy the monthly packs. But that's it. I'm not going all in. I'm not wasting all this money on this game anymore. It seems clear to me that the developers are no longer interested in growing this game and sustaining this game. It seems to me that they are very clearly trying to grab as much money, from the sinking ship on the way out. You squeeze every last dollar from those Krakens that they can, before they completely abandon this game and move on to their next, cash grab scam. I'm disgusted by this. I think a year from now, Call of Dragons is no longer going to be a viable game in this space. It's kind of surprising to me, given the length of Rise of Kingdoms. Heck, Rise of Kingdoms still going pretty strong today. I guess they decided that Call of Dragons just wasn't the kind of hit they hoped it would be, and so they're trying to grab the last bit of money they can before they completely abandon the project. As for my YouTube channel, like, I'm not going to take it down, but honestly, I'm not making many videos anymore, certainly nothing regular. Honestly, I kind of feel guilty as a content creator. I don't know to what extent, if anyone has been influenced by me to keep playing this game or spend money on this game, and to the extent I've done that, I apologize. What should you do about this reliquary system, these decorations now? How should you invest going forward?
Get out. Sorry, man.
Okay.
Get out! Yo! Yo! Yo, chill, man. Get out! Chill! Chill, man! Chill! Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah, and so that's where I'm at. Like I said, I'm not going to take down the channel. I'll still probably make a video now and again when the mood suits me. You know, for example, I've been collecting a lot of data on the pet, captures, pet skill releases, etc. I kind of promised everyone that I'd have a second iteration of that at some point. So you will see that sometime going forward. Are there going to be other videos? I don't know, maybe, but like certainly nothing regular anymore. Yeah, not too happy with the game right now. Like I said, I'll keep fighting this season, doing my best to support my alliance. The members of my guild are sort of like the reason I keep coming back to this game. But the game itself, not only is it not giving me reason to come back, it's giving me every reason I can to get out as quickly as I can. So that's all I got for you today, and probably all I got for you for a while. And you stay classy, Belleron.